I want to take a minute and show you a ground blind setup. This one didn't take really that long to build. I've been adding to it a little bit at a time. These guys that insist on being 25-30 feet in a tree, that's great. That's what you want to do. But this area I'm hunting, there's really no trees to climb at all. And while this thing looks like it stands out a little bit here, let me back off just a little bit and show you what the problem is right now. Is there's a lot of light behind it, but as you back off to the deer's perspective, let's get down here to deer height. You see this thing pretty much starts to just go away, and all I started with was 3 trees in a triangle, and there just happened to be a couple of dead limbs in front of it that were long enough to, I took one of them and put it at an angle, that one there. It cuts across, and I hooked it to a tree over here, and then I took and started brushing it in, just anything I could find, which is oaks and cedars. Then above it, what I did was I ran some branches from this tree to this tree, and then back to that tree, and made a triangle. And then I started putting brush on top of it, and then basically what I did was I just roofed it in, which it's a little hard to see, but that's kind of the point. And the reason I did that was it cast shadows, and deer have problems seeing shadows, things back in shadows is what I'm trying to say, just like we do. And there's my tripod, and you know, my view out of it. And then to add to it, I actually went behind me into this cedar tree, and I was kind of getting skylighted on this field behind me once the sun came up. So what I did was I went and cut some oak branches and put them in there to thicken up this little cedar tree. Cedar was growing in the shade, and it was kind of scraggly. So anyway, with, you know, I might have piddled with this thing for an hour total, and you absolutely don't have to. But the funny thing is you know, there's a white bucket right there with a piece of plywood on it that I'm using for a seat. And one reason is it was here. The deer don't pay any attention to it because there's already a bunch of buckets and barrels and stuff laying in this area. So anyway, there's you know, this one's about just a little under 6 feet tall, and just a quick ground blind, natural material. So other than a little bit of time, you've got 0 in it. And what's nice is the next year when you come back, it's easier to rebuild. And literally, that was what they were built with. Nothing but that right there. Just a little set of nippers for taking the limbs down. And yeah, you've got this ground blind that's comfortable to set in. It gives you plenty of good cover. I've had, you know, deer and foxes and squirrels and stuff walk right by it and pay absolutely no attention to it. So there you go. There's a little quickie thing on ground blinds. I said just a couple of trees growing in the right location, and you know, 30 minutes worth of trimming, if that. And if you're lucky enough to have a big deadfall, it might not even take you that long. But there you go. Little primer on how to build a ground blind.